Let's make some Oreo cookie cupcakes. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Heavenly Morsels, where I specialize in gluten and dairy-free baking. If this is something that interests you, come along with me. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making some gluten-free, dairy-free Oreo cupcakes. Perfect for the holiday season, Halloween, Christmas, all the things. Super simple recipe, easy to make, you can do it at home. Come along with me as we make some Oreo cookie cupcakes. Let's go over the ingredient lists. We're gonna have 1.5 sticks of vegan butter, that's 3/4 of a cup, 1 cup of water, 1/2 cup of applesauce or one of those little snack cups, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, I'm using the clear vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 of a teaspoon of xanthan gum if it's not already included in your flour, 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, 1/3 of a cup of the dark black cocoa. I can't source that in my area, so I'm using the Hershey's cocoa with just the crumbs or the outer shell of 6 Oreo cookies. And last but not least, 2 cups of gluten-free flour. I'm using Bob's Red Mill 1:1. And then of course, the Oreo cookies. I started things off by melting all of my vegan butter in a bowl in the microwave for 1 minute. Then I add my melted butter to a large mixing bowl. Then I'm adding my snack pack of applesauce. Then I'm going to be adding 1 cup of water, 2 eggs. Now I let my eggs come to room temperature. Then I add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I am using the clear vanilla extract. Now, vanilla, some of these ingredients are super expensive, and if you would like to use the artificial extract, no one's gonna tell on you, no one's gonna know. So then I'm gonna mix my wet ingredients all together and then add 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, 1/3 of a cup of Hershey's cocoa, and then I'm going to be adding the crumbs from the 6 cookies that I ground up in my little food processor, and then we're going to be blending in 2 cups of all-purpose flour. If you happen to be new to this channel or you haven't already, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload new videos. It really helps support my channel. I will also be sure to list the ingredient list down below so that you can make this recipe at home. I will also include some links to my Amazon storefront where you will be able to purchase some of the ingredients if you don't have them already. These are affiliate links and help support my channel, so if you happen to use any of those Amazon links, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. If you haven't done so already, now would be a really good time to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. This recipe yields 24 delicious cupcakes. Now would also be a good time to get out your muffin tin and line it with the cupcake liners. I will link the cupcake liners that I use in the description box down below as well. I like using the foil liners. I find with gluten-free batter that the paper liners tend to stick to the batter, and that when you try and peel off the paper liner, the bottom of the cupcake comes with it. So I have found that the foil liners are absolutely perfect when making any kind of a gluten-free cupcake. I use the Bob's Red Mill 1:1 flour as seen here. I will also be sure to link that in the description box down below. This has all of your little accoutrement in it, like your xanthan gum and stuff, so you don't need to buy extra ingredients to add separately whenever you're making this recipe. Then, now that all my dry ingredients have been added to my wet, I am stirring things up and combining well. Once I have added the 2 cups of gluten-free flour and combined it well, I then let my batter sit for approximately 5 minutes. It will allow your batter to thicken up a little bit, or I guess I should say your batter will naturally thicken up a little bit. So it's good to kind of let it set for 5 minutes prior to scooping it into your cupcake tin. Now, on theme with the Oreo cookie cupcakes, here I'm using the black foil cupcake liners. I will be sure to link them in the description box down below. And then you're going to be using a ice cream scoop, or I guess it's an ice cream scoop or a large batter scoop. And you're going to be filling the cupcakes halfway or 2/3. This is going to yield you 24 cupcakes. Now, I filled mine a little bit too much and ended up having 23 cupcakes, but you get what I mean. Now, I don't shake my batter or my cupcakes. You know how that you can try and shake it back and forth and the batter will kind of level within the cupcake liner. I don't do this because sometimes it can tend to make your liner slip and, you know, come out of the cupcake tin, and it just makes a big mess. So learn from me and don't bother shaking the pan to make the cupcakes level. I'm then going to be placing both cupcake trays in my preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to let them bake for 20 minutes. Now, I don't think I shared this with you that I saved the filling from those 6 cookies that I used the crumbs in the batter. It's not the end of the world if you don't keep it, but I just think it will help make the buttercream even more Oreo cookie-ish. So here we're doing 1 cup or 2 sticks of our vegan butter, and I melted it in the microwave approximately 1.5 minutes. And then I am adding the 6 whole Oreo cookies that we pulverized in our little food processor. I also add a little bit of clear vanilla. I also add 4 cups of powdered sugar and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You can also use 1 to 2 tablespoons of rice or any plant-based milk to thin your buttercream out, or so that it reaches its desired consistency. Now, I'm also showcasing this recipe without a stand mixer. You definitely can pull this recipe together without having to use a stand mixer, which I think is really great because not everyone has a stand mixer. So yeah, these cupcakes come together and this buttercream comes together fabulously, and no stand mixer needed. So once we've combined the buttercream really well and we've reached the desired consistency, once our cupcakes have cooled completely for approximately 1 to 2 hours, we are then going to pipe our buttercream onto our cupcakes. Now that our cupcakes have come out of the oven, and I really don't know why some of them have kind of looked like a crinkle cookie and some of them haven't, but as you can see here, I trimmed off the top of those 2 cupcakes when I pulled them out of the oven, so be careful not to do that. So then now we're going to be taking our buttercream and icing our cupcakes. Now, I like to take a tall jar and put the piping bag in the jar so that it makes it a lot easier to put in your buttercream and pipe it out onto your cupcakes. So that's what we're doing here. And then I'm going to be piping all 23 cupcakes in a circular motion, making this nice little design that we're going to be placing some Oreo cookies on at the end. So we're squeezing the buttercream down to the end of the piping bag until it comes out a little bit. And then, as you can see here, I'm going to be piping. Now, one thing about piping cupcakes, it's pretty standard and pretty easy. I will maybe link some tutorials on how to pipe cupcakes and to help you with this process. As you can see here, my buttercream is a little thick, or I'm not using the right pressure, but practice makes perfect. Now that we've got all of our cupcakes decorated with the buttercream, we are then going to be taking the gluten-free, dairy-free Oreo cookies and placing them on top. Now, in hindsight, it would probably be better to break your Oreo cookies in half. Number one, because they'll go a lot further, and we all know that gluten-free anything is super, super expensive, as well as the fact that they won't stick up as high if you happen to be making these to sell or making these to take over to a friend's house and that you've got a cupcake container that you want to put them in. It'll make sure that the cookies aren't sticking up too high. So there you have it. These are my gluten-free, dairy-free Oreo cookie cupcakes. Perfect for upcoming Halloween or for Christmas to sell at any upcoming Christmas craft fair or bake sale. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for coming along, everyone. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.